Well, it is Valentine's Day, but V for Valentine and also the same alphabet for Vigilantism. That's what we're looking at today on a day when there's been, we can just quickly wrap up for you what's happened around the day from Lucknow to Nagpur, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad and Chandigarh. There have been all sorts of threats by different groups posed to young couples in many cases. Of course, the argument being the same that we've heard over and over again, that this is a day that is against our Sabhyata and Sanskriti. Now, these are, of course, new custodians of our Sabhyata and Sanskriti who are going to tell us just what we have to do, how we can express our love, if a young couple can just go out on the streets together or not. And that's, of course, our focus for the evening also. Is love really conquering all, or are those days now firmly behind us? Let me introduce my guest to you right away, RJ Gini. You've heard her on Radio City. She's with us on the program, as is Indira Tiwari of the Hindu Mahasabha, Ira Trivedi, author, India in Love, Marriage and Sexuality in the 21st Century, is also joining us. Gini, I want to start by asking you, you are hosting a program on radio where there are lots of people calling in. You're calling people, you're constantly talking about a whole host of issues. I've heard a couple on relationships. Now, when we see on a day like this, which is, you know, innocuous, really, largely, and you're seeing, you know, like I mentioned, all these cities from the south, west, east, all the north, all these cities are really covered. Is it really representing what the young of India want today? Why are they falling in line quietly? Is there no option?
No, first, Valentine's Day is not limited to the young. When you're talking about a day of love, it's just a cute day. That's it, the end all and be all. You want to express love, you're most welcome to express love. But the young are protesting. I believe there have been universities which have been told that the couples or young kids cannot come out. They've still gone ahead. If you turn around and go to the malls today, if you went on the streets of Delhi today, there were enough flowers being sold at exorbitant prices. People were still dating. I think, yes, the young are rebelling by just going ahead and doing what they want to do. And before we go, before you go, you know, there's this quote by Mahatma Gandhi, which is there on a lot of government offices, which is about culture. It says, I don't want my house to be walled on all sides and my windows to be stuffed. I want the culture of all lands to be blown about my house as freely as possible, but I refuse to be blown off my feet by any. That was Mahatma Gandhi. Our culture is not to shut, ban, shout, hit. Everybody is allowed to do what they want to do. And that's what the young are doing. They're not really getting scared.
And Sabhyata and Sanskriti, our culture, is not going to be dented or damaged in any way. You know, if people just walk around on the streets, if they exchange flowers, or couples just hang around. Indira Tiwari, come in here at this point to all those who are asking, who are these new custodians of our culture? Who are they to tell us what we can or cannot do? The kind of violence that is often meted out. Thankfully, those are not the kind of pictures making headlines, but there is ample today. I mean, I can go through all of this, but we'll just be giving more oxygen to these groups.
Natasha, I mean, a few days back, when the whole nation was watching Parliament also, we have witnessed the same issue. So these are the prodigy of the current Nizam, which is at the helms of affair. So you can understand that they are not the representative of Sanatan Dharma or the Sabhyata or the Sanskriti if they do not understand, though they talk about Vivekananda and everything. So they don't understand that Vivekananda, when he revived Sanatan Dharma in the session of Chicago, he said that we are known for the universal acceptance and tolerance. So that is the tenet of our system, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is universal tolerance. And acceptance means you have to accept everybody. Its cosmic nature is with the diversity.
But they seem to have a problem with when these are groups sort of.
These are hooligans.
These are
hooligans, Gunda element.
Why are views like you're from the Hindu Mahasabha? Why are views like yours sort of not becoming more mainstream? Why are thoughts that you're echoing here not what we are seeing out there?
They are not Hindus. They are not Hindus. They are stereotype of a people who have been just promoted, monitored, abated by the current Nizam of this country, who's actually reduced the country to crony capitalism in order to sustain themselves into power. So these kinds of hooliganism they have to create in order to divide and rule the country. But the issue is that, was Shakuntala was not in love with the Bharat? Was Nal and Damayanti was not in love? Or before we never had any kind of a love and affair?
You're saying that in whether it's popular culture historically, we will always
if you remove the word Valentine, even then can you stop loving young couple from each other? Can you? Who can stop the nature? Is the natural instinct.
Well, it's good to hear
and they want to control the natural instinct, which they cannot. They are the criminals. Like when they are laughing at Renuka Chaudhary by
I want to get that in just a bit. But Trivedi, come in here at this stage. You're hearing these views. This on a day when the Lucknow University was closed today, prevent students from getting onto campus. Of course, the universities argue this was on the occasion of Mahashivratri, but the students have protested. Now, there are loads of instances today that I'm reading of the Bajrang Dal, stopping young couples. They're staging protests against Valentine's Day. There is, of course, love in the time of jihad, really. How do you see this?
It is a problem. It is a problem. To be honest, I have, the number of young people that we would have seen on the roads, especially in second-tier towns, is not as many as people are a little scared to be out on this day. And so these fringe elements have actually done what they set out to do. So people are trying to keep, I think in big cities like Delhi, Bombay, it's a little different. But when you go to the second-tier towns, the situation there is very different, because the moral police is unfortunately effectively doing their job, and they are in cahoots with the police. The police are not encouraging young people to be out there anyways. And I don't think that big cities like Delhi and Bombay and Bangalore are the benchmark. And again, when I wrote India and Love, I traveled to so many smaller cities and I spoke to so many people, and that's what I realized, that there is still a lot of fear out there. And forget about fear from police or fringe elements. There's so much fear from families. What will families say if I'm out with someone on Valentine's Day? What's going to happen? Are my parents going to do something to me? So I do think that this is an entire society, a problem of our society. It doesn't just. It's not about the fringe elements here or moral policing.
Okay, you've given us two good points to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, you've given us 2 points to talk about. Can you come in here at this? When you say that you saw all these flowers, couples, or just people out there, a regular day with just some exorbitant flowers thrown in.
Yes.
Let's just say the point it's making is it's very difficult. It's very different. I beg your pardon. When you're talking about the big cities, very
as compared to the smaller
in tier 2, tier 3.
Which is true. Also in smaller cities, like she just said, familial influence is a lot. You're anyway very scared of your parents. Parents haven't had an open conversation. The biggest fear is, what if we get caught? Who will we call at that point in time? Like I remember last year on Radio City, I had taken a call from a girl who said she went out, she was harassed by some people on Valentine's Day. She kept mum. So I got really angry and asked her why, and she says, I can't afford to have my parents know that I actually went out with a boy. The questioning and the fact that they will put me behind closed doors is so much more bigger that I'm fine with not doing it on these days. So definitely tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns, this would be a fear. I'm just surprised that nobody actually comes out from authorities, from the government to say that we'll support it and this is just wrong. I do think if that statement also
that's right, they usually just react if something happens, if young
but nobody
couples
ever
in a park
reacts.
get beaten up and videos are taken, and then they're humiliated in that sense.
Also, the fact is that nobody is speaking up these days, if you notice. Anything that happens on the street, nobody is going to come for your help. So there is also a fear of that when you're going out, you might as well stay in a mall, go to a movie theatre, so you don't see so many people outside because you feel that those are slightly more safer environments. So on the roads, definitely that is the route. But yes, love, I don't understand. There's this whole thing in Delhi, if you look at slogans and posters being put up at, respect your parents, it's your parents' day today. And I'm fine with that. Go tell your parents I love you, and it's okay to go and tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend that I love you. Love is not supposed to be so scared about or to be closed, right?
Yes, see, first of all, when you get married, so will you offer flowers? like Shraddhanjali and Pushpanjali.
Well,
What,
I've
what
seen.
will you do? What for you have been married? It is to make love, to be in love. That is the whole issue. This is how the cosmos runs, the Srishti runs.
If you look at pictures today that have surfaced on the social media by a lot of activists, they've actually got their parents sitting on a pedestal offering flowers and saying it's Matra Pitra Divas, which should be replaced. In fact, I have seen, yes, there are hashtags.
Which again is fine, because again the point that we're making is that you can express your
You
love
love
to anyone that
anybody.
you want.
Yeah,
Anyone
that's
that
my
you want.
choice.
Okay, I want to get
But
Ira
what
in
will
again
you
on
do with
this.
your wife?
I want to get again on this.
Your
Of
wife
course-
also, you will offer flower at
Yeah,
her
okay,
feet. At her
okay.
feet.
Indira, one second. I want to get Ira, and Ira, I'm told that we just keep losing you, so I just try and cross you. You made the point earlier about, it's very different in small towns. Yes, there's of course no arguing with that, but the point again that Indira made, or you've sort of seen on social media, the points by the minister on, women who drink. The women who drink beer, for instance, are an issue.
scaring people, yes.
The fact that a woman laughs a certain way in parliament, and then that becomes a new debate, because women are meant to conform. We are still a society where women are meant to conform.
And the men are free. And the men are free.
Yes.
It's the truth. It's the truth, Natasha. Women are supposed to behave a certain way, and women are supposed to marry a certain way. Women are supposed to dress a certain way. Women are even supposed to laugh a certain way. And this is not just ordinary women we're talking about. We're talking about members of parliament. And so women at that level can be victimized. Then what can we say about an ordinary 22-year-old in a small town, Just imagine the kind of social pressure she's under. So I do think as a society, we do victimize women. We do, that's why there's a very strong law in the IPC. And I think every single woman should be aware of this law. It's IPC 509. It's about when anyone insults the modesty of a woman, she can take that person to jail. And the reason we have such strong laws is because that we need them in our society. So whenever I talk to young people, I let them know that, listen, everyone should be aware of section 509. So if anyone
But there are, of course, all those who argue that we have among the best laws in the world. But again, implementation, and do they really act as deterrents when we talk about
Natasha,
crime against women? That really becomes the challenge.
Natasha, the problem is that it's fear again. And it's not just fear from society, it's sometimes fear from your own family. Like, what will my family
you made that point. And that Guinea, as I start to wrap this, comes from, we're still caught up in this log kya kahenge. I mean, aren't we? That
absolutely.
Family will find out, the neighborhood, extended family will find out, the neighborhood will find out, and,
And for a woman, and it really does still matter.
Right.
For a woman.
Actually, it's the same for men.
As I said, the more conservative.
But we don't see it like that. Society doesn't see it like that.
It's not true. Like when we have a love show on our station, Radio City, or when we get men calling in, it's as big a taboo for them. When they're talking and convincing their parents, it's as big a taboo for them. I think we need to probably equate the two. If a woman has problems, so does a man. But on Valentine's Day, I just wanted to tell the activists this as well. While you're driving to Delhi and you're seeing really horrible bouquets, I might not like them, but I do not have the right to go break them. That is my opinion about a certain day. If you do not think that this is in your culture,
you don't have to get violence. I mean,
that's fine by you.
For Valentine's Day, for vigilantism, and for violence.
They are not the custodian of the culture.
Somebody needs to tell them that. Well, that's good to know, but somebody needs to tell them. I'm afraid I'm completely out of time. On that note, Indira Tiwari and Ira Trivedi, thanks very much for your time. I wonder if we have the same discussion next year on Valentine's Day on the 14th of February. Will there be a new narrative? Will there be a discourse? That is what we are hoping for. But thanks again for your time on the program.